Carnival of Chaos is the 5th expansion for Thunder Road Vendetta by Restoration Games. And if you don't know or haven't heard of that, then please go watch my previous review first, because this strictly requires the base game. It is only an expansion, but it's also the most unique expansion yet, as it turns the race format of the standard game into an arena battle instead. Hence why I thought it deserved a separate review. I'm James Bruce, you're watching Tabletop Dungeon. Please start your engines, strap into your seatbelt, reload your guns, and above all else, give them a good show. Unlike the base game of Thunder Road Vendetta, where the objective is to win the race or obliterate all the competition, Carnival of Chaos is a Destruction Derby style arena battle, where the objective is to collect as much scrap as possible, represented by these little coins. I have some metal ones here. And generally, you do this by destroying other cars, taking the spotlight, and putting on a good show for the crowd. The arena is every bit as deadly, with spring-loaded pillars that jump out at the end of every round, enclosed walls and obstacles just waiting for you to ram into them and explode, as well as a variety of hilariously overpowered super weapons and random party favors and bonuses to pick up. And you're still allowed to use your air support too. This is Tina's Carnival, and Tina's rules are final, and at the end of each turn, you're going to get a new rule just to mix things up a bit. Like this one, which says players can assign any value dice to their commands. Pretty cool. And at any point, players can use their once a match witness me card, where the cameras are on them and they're going to get more scrap for whatever they do, ramming into someone or shooting them, regardless of whether they end up hitting or inflicting any damage. Now, if one player is eliminated or all of their cards are inoperable, the winner is the player with the most scrap. Alternatively, the game finishes after 6 rounds anyway, and whoever's got the most scrap wins. So as mentioned, this is an expansion. You do need at least the base game to play this, but you can also mix and match components from various other expansions. Not everything though. For instance, the big rig isn't allowed, but the motorcycles, the final 5, they are allowed. The arena consists of a double-sided tile, one easier, one harder, just means it has more obstacles, as well as a foundation tile, which is pretty cool. And that attaches magnetically to the tile that goes on top. I love this. And into it slot the 3 road tiles marking the entrances to the arena. There's absolutely no need to have a fancy foundation tile to be printed in any way at all. You don't see it, it's hidden underneath the main arena, but it is printed, and it's one of those little things like using magnets, which is really just good, thoughtful design, and I appreciate that. So the road tiles, which you select randomly from all of the ones you have, act in the same way they do in the base game, except for that the hazards are replaced with party favors. But once you've entered the arena, which is based upon a hex design, things change up a bit. So the direction that you're facing now matters, and you can only go forwards in an arc, but if you veer off left or right, your facing changes. So you can drive in circles if you want, but you can't, say, turn completely around still. If someone slams into you, your facing changes to match theirs. Also in the box is a set of purple cards for a 5th player, or just alternative colours in case you didn't already have the option of a 5th player from the Big Rig and Final 5 expansion. I suppose it could also be like a 7th player for the main Vendetta game, which sounds insane, so let me know if you've tried that and how it went, but generally speaking, you're not going to do that. So, how does Carnival of Chaos play? Is it any good? The directionality of cars, rather than being just sort of forward only, means it's a lot trickier than the basic Thunder Road game. The party favors are pretty obvious, but I do find some people can have a hard time getting their head around how the facing changes when they move. And you have to keep a close eye to make sure that they're not suddenly doing an illegal U-turn. Mostly you just need to remember you can turn around, but it'll have to be around a 1 hex gap in the center. You can't turn on the spot unless you have one of the party favors that explicitly enables it. As long as you remember that, you've got a turning arc around 1 hex in the middle, it's easy. Because there's no hazards on the arena, with the caveat that if you've got the exclusive Kickstarter bit, that does have hazards. I'm just going to assume you haven't got that though. But because of that, there's actually a lot less randomness, and there's more strategy that can occur. It feels more lethal, more cutthroat, like one of the really tight road tiles that would pass through a valley or a tight winding road, because there's obstacles surrounding the arena and frequently within it. The party favors are numerous enough and not overly powerful, but they can be used tactically to secure a win. The super weapons are very swingy. Some are overpowered, and I think that's okay. They're supposed to be. They add a needed comical element, such as things like the Wampa that launches you into the air, or the giant freaking laser beams that shoot an infinite distance in one line. I think perhaps I prefer Carnival of Chaos to the basic Vendetta game, but not so much that I would only play this from now on. They do complement each other nicely. Perhaps a narrative of a few races for a tournament, and then the overall winner gets some kind of bonus for the ensuing ultimate arena battle. That said, it's not an essential expansion. If you really enjoy the racing aspect, this isn't going to add anything to that. It just gives you a completely alternative play mode. So that's Carnival of Chaos. I would highly recommend it along with the base Thunder Road Vendetta game, which you can check out in my review, linked somewhere. Hit like if you appreciated this review, and consider subscribing for more board game reviews, zombicide stuff, etc. Until next time, drive safe. Which I mean with your foot on the accelerator and your finger on the trigger.